What is your bud weight? It gets worse story. My soul locked his keys in his car about 6 weeks ago. Well, only the hidden key that lives inside the fob. But you see, the unlock key on the fob is broken, so the key is required to enter the car, and the fob fits into the ignition. He had no other choice than to open the trunk with the fob, punch out the small trunk access door that's behind the backseat armrest, find the lever to lower the rear seats by shoving his body through the tiny door, crawl through the car, and retrieve his key in the front seat. I also forgot to mention that the alarm was blaring this whole time. He finally gets through to the front seat, starts the car, and kills the alarm. Exhausted, with bloody knuckles and scrapes all over, he gets out of the car and shuts the door behind him. It is then that he realized he had left the keys on the seat again, and the door had locked behind him. He turned and gave a swift punt to his tire out of frustration, immediately snapping his third metatarsal, breaking his foot. He then had to repeat this scenario to get his keys out, this time with a broken foot. He just got his boot off last week. Got my first ever blowjob from my first ever girlfriend in college. We were both drunk, and I also did not know what a blowjob would feel like. It didn't feel the best, and I was starting to fall asleep, so I told her I had came to end it, and we fell asleep. Woke up the next morning, and jumped in the shower, and experienced what felt like hot lava on my raw skin deck. She had used teeth the whole time, and it was rubbing off the skin on the underside of my penis with every bob of her neck. But wait, it gets worse. The next day we go to a football game, and she isn't her normal self, not holding my hand or really talking to me. We get back, and she comes up to my app to tell me that she cheated on me with my best friend I had at college, and we broke up, leaving me alone with my raw deck that took 2 weeks to heal. When we had to put down our family dog of 12 years, and on the drive home, my parents told my brother and I that they were separating. Edit, to all 2,000 people who had to reply to this and say my parents are terrible people. No, they're not. This happened when I was 18, and if they hadn't stayed together because they both wanted the dog, I would have had to go through that when I was still in high school, so I really don't see how I was wronged here. At 14 months old, my son was diagnosed with brain cancer. At 4 years old it recurred. At 5 years old, the cancer grew during his stem cell transplant. At 5 years old, I was told to take him home and make him comfortable until he died. At 7 years old, a surgeon took his case and found he had a second form of brain cancer. 4 months later, my ex-wife told me she was ducking her prayer partner because I gave my son cancer. Copied and pasted, because I posted this before. 2 of my friends had a falling out. I was dying to know what was going on between them because they lived together, and I felt like I was watching mommy and daddy get divorced. One friend was never around, and the other told me he honestly didn't know what going on. After a couple months, I finally got someone on one time with the friend who wasn't around, and he explained everything to me in detail. Basically he asked if he could date the other friend's cousin, who emphatically said no. But, since the other friend had dated his cousin without asking, he violated bro code and started seeing her anyway. In dating this girl, he came to find out that she and the other friend were more than just cousins. They had carried on a physical relationship for years. Basically they ducked like bunnies whenever the family wasn't looking. But hold on, it gets worse. He was told this went on for 10 years. The girl was 22. Her cousin was 24. They had been having sex since middle school. But hold the duck on. It gets worse. The girl's father and her cousin's father are identical twins. Let that sink in for a second. Genetically, they are half siblings. At that point in the story, I downed my beer and apologized for even asking about what was going on. I wish I never knew. As a follow-up, they no longer live together or speak to each other. I'm still really close with the incest-free friend. I see the other friend in passing, and we're still friends, but it's hard to look him in the eye. Edit. Oh, and the non-incestuous couple split up shortly after because he couldn't handle it. Not sure if she's still ducking her cousin or not. My mom planned a 3-generation trip of a lifetime with my grandpa, my brother, and me. We were going to stay in Vegas for one day, go down to a gold mine of one of her friends, visit the Grand Canyon, and then fly back from Phoenix while making multiple stops on Route 66. We were going to leave after my high school graduation. On the day of my graduation, my grandpa hits his head because the Comfort Inn he is staying in installed new slippery tubs. He wasn't the first person injured. He did a concussion test on himself, and since he didn't have a bump on his head, he went to my graduation and went on the trip with us. We spent a night in Vegas checking out the casinos, but my brother and I can't gamble or drink, so there wasn't a lot we could do. We go to bed and wake up the next morning and went to check out, but our grandpa wasn't down yet. He doesn't answer his phone and we ask the hotel manager to let us into his room. We find him unconscious and unresponsive. They take him to a hospital and we find out he has a brain clot. They aren't able to treat it, so we have to take him off life support, and he died 7 hours later. Once we got home we tried to get a death certificate, but were told that it could take between 4 to 6 weeks for them to give it to us. 6 weeks later we received a death certificate with a mistake because the person who filled it out googled my grandpa's address instead of using the one we gave them. A couple of days ago, 5 weeks later, we have received the death certificate. In a week my mom and brother are going down to Florida to get his stuff, but I can't go with them because of college. We still don't even know where his will is, and I bet more shit is going to hit the fan. In short, Comfort Inn kills my grandpa immediately after my graduation. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, including death certificates, and I won't be able to go down to my grandpa's house for the last time. Hi, please tell me your grandpa's estate is suing the shit out of Comfort Inn. Comfort Inn is owned by Choice Hotels, which has pretty deep pockets. It sounds to me like you have a really strong case if other people have slipped in the tubs before, and honestly a wrongful death claim can be a life-changing amount of money if you invest it properly. Not live like a king money, but more like substantially and perpetually increase your standard of living with zero risk money. Lost my house and both cars with my girlfriend to Hurricane Florence. We were renting. It flooded. Girlfriend loses job. I luckily work from home, but it gets worse. Had $65 renter's insurance that didn't cover flooding because we weren't in the flood zone. Swayed us into being okay. FEMA only gives a $1,000. Lost everything. Barely scratches the surface of just trying to relocate. Displaced to a 8x8 room with a friend with girlfriend and our 2 dogs. We were originally in North Carolina, now in Virginia Beach. Have to keep driving back and forth to NC on a rental car. Been doing this almost a month now. Didn't know anyone I could stay with in NC, and the shelter made it impossible for me to continue to work from home. So we had to find friends here. Our lease has been terminated, but owners want to keep the security deposit. They want to fight us in court for this money we desperately need. Even started demoing the house as we were still trying to get whatever stuff survived out. 2 days ago as of today, girlfriend ends our 4-year relationship. Perfect timing, right? Losing her and my 2 dogs. Can't really figure out why, I'll probably find out soon. Virginia Beach is about to get hit by the next Hurricane Michael. Looks to be only a tropical storm by the time it gets here. I will keep this updated if it gets much worse. It hasn't stopped. In late 2016, my live-in girlfriend and I were in a rough patch. I was kind of riding it out until the end of the lease to see if things got any better. Narrator, they did not. In late October, she told me that she was breaking up with me. A week later, I was laid off. She moved out shortly after. A few weeks after that, I saw on social media that she had gotten engaged. Sometime after that, mutual friends assured me that she had been cheating. I found a contract job, which I hated. While there, I started a side contracting gig. When the primary contract ended, I decided to take my side gig full time. Since I suck at sales, I couldn't manage to get traction. Fortunately, I'm now in a job I enjoy very much, back in the gym losing weight, and dating more. Basically, if my life were an NFL team, the coach would call this a rebuilding year. This is just this year alone. My mother died in her sleep. I found her. Had to move out of the home I lived in for 11 years. My brother and his GF stole a lot of my things. Found out both my cats have lung cancer. Can't have my cats because of where I live. My job changed shifts. I still have a job, just had to take a pay cut, and it's even more stressful. My BF got really sick. My brother, not the one that stole my stuff, almost died. I've been sick and had a lump behind my ear. Do not have medical insurance. One of my cats died today. Edit. To those who are wondering, I went to the dentist today because I had a tooth infection a week ago. He said my teeth looked fine and that the lump behind my ear is a swollen lymph node. He said that in this way, my sinuses look cloudy, so I may have a sinus infection or allergies that is causing my tooth pain. He said the lymph node is either the sinus infection or I have something else going on. He prescribed me a Z-Pack and also told me to go see my doctor again to either check this stuff out or confirm it. He said since I haven't been running a fever that whatever it is hasn't progressed and shouldn't be hard to get rid of. So Friday I have to see the doctor. I'm actually happy about this. I'll update after my doctor's visit. Thanks to everyone for the kind words and reassuring me that I'm not dying. Lol. Got hit with a tropical storm. It became a hurricane. Hid in the sink with my cats, but couldn't get my dog in. Cats scratched me and pissed on me. Exited in the morning and the roof was off and the kitchen was flooded. My car had taken a direct hit from a power transformer and was completely ducked. The road to the house had 10 or 12 downed trees blocking it. Surrounded by jungle, so had to hack my way out with a machete, make it to work. Work is gone. The entire office building is gone. Just debris. Get chased while dogs on my way to friend's house. Friend comes over with chainsaw to clear road. A ducking tree falls on me. No running water or power for months. I get fired because there literally is no more work as it doesn't exist. Bye bye insurance. Never seen dog. Since hurricane, he is probably either dead or lost. Takes a year to find a new job. Got out of the Navy. Decided to go to college. Met a girl. Liked the girl. It's close to my birthday 2 years later. Cross road to meet my dad. He was passing through town for work and dropped off my present. Get mashed by unsubbed while on foot. My head breaks off his mirror. Crushed windshield. Total the car. It gets worse. They shave the side of my head with a scalpel so they can staple my skin flap back to my skull. 2 weeks later, hobble back into my apartment. CGF blowing guy on my bed. Heartbreak, anger, pain. I'm a Sith Lord by now. Should have stayed in the Duckin Navy. Too crippled to re-enlist. Thanks God. My ex-wife wanted to be a stay-at-home wife even after I offered to pay for school or help her start a leather working business. My best friend / co-worker gets promoted over me at work due to what akins to a coin flip. Friend has day off work one night and comes in anyways. Turns out his wife caught him and my ex-wife sending some dirty messages to each other. Come to find out that they had a physical relationship as well, like 3 nights prior, while I was asleep in the other room. Fast forward through some marriage counseling and 2 years later. New state, new opportunity. She doubles down on being a housewife. I pay for her to fly out to go to a convention with her friends while I'm away in the desert for a work thing. Literally a month in one of the hottest spots on earth. Come home and she basically holed herself in the house, choosing to live online and neglect reality. After some arguments, find out she and one of the friends she flew out to go see were having an online relationship. She told me she wished I never came home. Work got worse. I believed about the marriage failing was my fault. Suicide attempt last year. It failed. Basically poisoned myself. Was sick for 2 days and thought my insides were going to eat themselves out. 0/10 do not recommend. Finally wake up and file for divorce. She publicly accuses me of mental and emotional abuse. 2017 wasn't a good year for me. Edit. Thank you all for the encouraging words, but don't get me wrong. I don't hate her or think of her as a bad person. She is just childish and has a lot more growing up to do. Both do. I still wish the best for her, but am not longer blaming myself for her crap. 2018 has been loads better. Decided to quit my job and go back to school. Haven't been happier in my life. Haven't found anyone new yet, but still have my fingers crossed.